Hey YouTube fam, what's up? It's Patrick. Welcome to a casual morning practice. For today's session, all you will need is yourself and your mat. And before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. New classes come out every single week. And after you finish this one, if you enjoy it, like the video. Greatly appreciate your support. Let's actually begin in Sphinx pose today. So where you're going to set up is have the hips nice and grounded, elbows underneath your shoulders, and as you get here you can close your eyes if you want, but really just wiggle around a little bit. Roll your right hip down towards the floor, follow that by rolling your left hip down towards the floor. Pull your chest out a little bit. None of these movements need to be big or dramatic. You really just want to feel the weight of your hips softly pressing down, and then the lift through your spine. What this is doing is it's really just opening up the front body, helping you move away from your most common sleeping position, which is probably either on your right shoulder or your left shoulder curled up in some sort of ball or another. So this is just a nice counter to that to begin. Let's take 2 to 3 more breaths here. And from here, what I want you to do is look over your right shoulder and then squeeze your left heel towards your butt. So you're trying to spot your left heel with your right eye. And then release and switch side. Right heel squeezes towards butt. Left eye tries to spot heel. You're just going to go at your own pace here. Switch. And switch. And don't worry about how big these movements are. Just work through your range of motion. So you'll notice the first ones are a little bit more limited, and then things subtly begin to pick up. But still, this movement can be tough, especially if you're really tight through your front body naturally. And so we're just using this as an opportunity to wake things up, not necessarily push the limit in any capacity. Remember to try to breathe here, sync up the movements a little bit. Feel a wiggle through your spine and an opening through your front body. Last 2 here. Hope you've noticed an increase in the range. As you release, come back to center. We'll take 2 up the middle, heels to butt. As you squeeze the heels to butt, push your hands down, lift your elbow slightly, and then pull your chest out towards your fingers. Exhale, release. Deep inhale. Exhale, clear. Squeeze heels to butt, lift elbows slightly, pull chest out. Lift and open, lift and lengthen. Find elevation. Feel the sensation move up your spine and release. Let everything lay flat to the floor. Take an inhale here and an exhale to release. Fingertips down, inhale, lift your chest up and away. And exhale, roll down. Inhale, lift up and away. And exhale, roll down. 2 more here. Inhale, lift up and away. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, lift up and away. Exhale, roll down. As you make it to the floor, no pause, locust pose. The back line of your body is very awake. Don't feel like you need to go to any specific height. Just feel the lift and elevation here. Reach back through your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Try to hold here for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, release. Let your body land on the floor. And then softly push back towards your child's pose. Let the knees go wide or the knees stay centered. Just feel a stretch underneath your armpits here through your side body. Maybe you inch your hands a little bit further forward. Really grip through the fingers. So as you sit your hips back in space, you're dropping into some real deep opening. Inhale, come forward onto hands and knees. Circle the shoulders over the wrists a few times. Waving around, rolling around. Feel your fingers capable of gripping the floor. Notice how much freedom you have to move through your back body here after all the stuff we just did to wake everything up. As you get comfortable here, tuck your toes, lift your knees off the ground slightly, and then lower your knees back down. Sit to your heels, toes pose. One of the best places to spend some time when you're starting out your day or when you're starting out your practice of any sort. Really feel your inner ankles coming together as much as possible. Feel some weight in your big toes. Then you can interlace hands, bring the palms just to your rib cage, and feel the breath into your upper belly. Let's take 2 breaths together, in fact. Exhale to clear. Deep inhale to fill. And exhale to clear. Deep inhale to fill. And exhale to clear. Lean off the toes. Tap the feet a few times. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feel the length in your spine here and just notice, how does this downward facing dog feel compared to other ones? Use it as a moment to check in. Maybe you're checking in with how the warm-up of the practices went so far. Maybe you're checking in with all the other things that you've done between your last practice and now. Inhale, roll forwards into your plank pose. Try to wiggle through your spine there. And then exhale, cruise back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into your plank pose. And exhale, wave back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into your plank pose. And exhale, wave back into your downward facing dog. As you find your down dog this time, inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. On your exhale, drive your left knee all the way over to your right tricep. Let it connect. And then step your left foot back to meet your right big toes connect. Sit back to your heels. Spin your chest up towards the sky as you plant into your left thumb. One more inhale here. On your exhale, come back forward, let your right hand plant, roll your right foot on top of your left, and sweep into upward facing dog. On your exhale, push your hips back in space. Inhale, your right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot steps to the outside of your right hand, but as far forward as possible. As you make it here, inhale, peel your right hand up to the sky, churn your chest open. On your exhale, right hand to the floor. Push your hips up and back, straighten through your right leg in any capacity. Work in there. Don't let this be a static position. Give yourself the freedom to mosey around in a territory that you choose. Bend your right knee. Drop your left heel down. Inhale, peel and reach your left arm up to the sky. Get a little bit longer. Create a fist with your left hand if you'd like. See, that just gives you a little bit more intention through your fingers. On your exhale, left hand to the floor. Right leg lifts up to the sky, three-legged dog. Inhale here. On your exhale, let your right foot step to your right thumb. Left knee drops down. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Open through your front body from a different angle. Exhale, hands to the floor inside of right leg. Pivot into wide leg forward fold. Drop down and in here just a bit more. And as you get here, instead of staying static, sway forwards and backwards. So you're exploring the long sides of your yoga mat, the right and left side respectively. As you lean around here, feel a nice synchronous wave of movement. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Pivot your heels in a time or two. Sit your hips low. Goddess pose, horse stance, whatever you would like to call it. Reach your hands forward. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, pull your right hand back in space. Twist your chest open. Inhale, aid the twist. Exhale, return to center. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, twist left hand back behind you. Peel your chest open. Inhale, aid the twist. Exhale, return to center. Push your hips back as you lean forward. Try to keep your knees bent and wide here, glutes active. Hold your space as you lean out just a little bit further. And then place your hands on the floor, straighten your arms, pivot onto your big toes. Try to lift every other toe off the ground. Arms are straight. Look down at the floor. Lower your heels down. Walk your hands towards your front right foot. Step back to plank pose and move through your vinyasa. Don't make it more or less complicated than it needs to be. Feel the new space you've created and know that we're only going to create more. Inhale, your right leg lifts. On your exhale, right knee over to touch your left tricep. From here, right big toe steps back to meet left. Sit to your heels and curve your chest up to the sky. Your left hand can guide you if you want a focal point for your vision. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, roll over the ankles, cross, left hand finds the top of the mat, and you find upward facing dog. Curve your chest out. Really try to work through your feet here. Push your hips up and back in space. Left leg lifts up and away. Big step, left foot all the way to the outside of your left hand as far forwards as possible. Inhale, peel open through your left hand. Find the twist in your very, very long lunge here. Inhale, breathe into your right collarbone. On your exhale, left hand to the floor. Push your hips up and back in space. Straightening through both legs, but again, remember, straight is always relative. And also, give yourself the freedom to move around. This is a morning practice. This is a wake-up practice. Wake up your body here. Bend your left knee. Drop your right heel down. Peel your right hand up towards the sky. Turn in a new direction. Notice the freedom you have in your spine here. Big available breath. Take one more inhale. On your exhale, right hand to the floor. Three-legged dog. Your left leg lifts. On your next exhale, left foot journeys up to left thumb. Right knee lowers to the floor. Inhale, reach. Your hands up to the sky, open into Anjaneyasana. Find new space. Reach through your fingers as you lift through your heart. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Pivot around. Wide leg forward fold. As you make it into your wide leg forward fold, remember to sway forwards and backwards here. So you're just getting a nice little groove. And if you look up at the screen and you are confused about my positioning, I pivoted around so it would be easier for me to see y'all and show the movements that we're working on. Notice how this feels. Is it a bit more spacious? Find a little fluid movement here. Really try to push your hips back and then pull your chest forward. Let those movements be separate. Inhale, find your center. Pivot your heels in a time or two, whatever you need to find your goddess pose. Sit your hips low. Pull your knees apart, active glutes. Reach through your fingers. Inhale here. On your exhale, twist. Left hand reaches behind you. Inhale, curve your chest open. Exhale, close. Inhale, right hand reaches behind you. Exhale, aids the twist. Inhale, opens it more. Exhale, close. Inhale here, sit your hips a little bit lower, hands the heart center. Push your hips back in space as you lean your chest and heart out. Keep pulling your knees further apart here. Feel your legs active and alive. Place your hands flat on the floor, arms straight. Pivot onto your big toes, bridge your hips up or drive your hips up towards the sky. Try to lift through your lower belly. Slowly release. Heels to the floor. Walk towards your front foot. Step back. Plank pose. Move through your vinyasa. One more time through the sequence. A little bit quicker pace, not necessarily fast, but just a bit more fluid. Left leg lifts. Left knee drives up to right tricep. Left big toe steps back to meet right big toe. Sit to your heels. If you'd like to, exhale, drive hips up to sky, open through your chest, reach through your right arm. Sit hips back to heels. Right hand lands to the top of the mat, ankles cross, pull in to upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back, downward facing dog, right leg lifts. Longest possible step, right foot to the top of the mat or well past it. Bend your right knee, inhale, reach your right hand up to the sky, get as long as possible. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Push your hips up and away, finding some relative straight with your right leg. Bend your right knee, drop your left heel down. Inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky. Open things up a bit. Exhale, left hand to the floor. Right leg lifts up and away. Let it sweep to the ceiling. On your exhale, right foot up to your right thumb. Drop your left knee down. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Open through your front body. Exhale, hands to floor. Pivot around, wide leg forward folds. Sway forwards and backwards 3 times here. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Hold in your back position on 3. Return to center. Pivot your heels in a time or 2. Sit your hips low. Goddess pose. Reach your hands forward. Inhale, peel your right hand back in space. Exhale, supports the twist. Inhale, opens the twist. Exhale, close. Inhale, reach your left hand back in space. Exhale, opens the twist. Inhale, supports the twist. Exhale, close. Inhale, hands to heart center. Get taller even as you sit lower. Lean your chest forward as your hips go back in space. Keep pulling your knees wider apart. Try to hold this low shape. Hands to floor. Rise onto your big toes. Arms are straight. Look down at the ground. Hold for 3. For 2. On 1. Release heels to floor. Walk towards your front foot. Step back to plank pose. Move through your vinyasa. It can be rigorous. You can, of course, add push-ups if you want, but remember, this is just a nice wake-up practice. Don't make it more or less complicated than it needs to be. Inhale, your right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee over to touch left tricep. Right big toe steps back to meet left. Sit hips to heels. Exhale, straighten through your legs. Drive your hips up. Reach your left arm overhead. Sit hips back to heels. Left hand lands atop of mat. Ankles cross. Pull forwards into your upward facing dog. Really work through your right big toe there. Roll back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Longest possible step, left foot to the outside of your left hand as far forward as possible. Bend your left knee as it lands. Inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky. Breathe into your left shoulder blade. On your exhale, left hand to the floor. Straighten both legs as best you can. A very long, modified pyramid pose. Maybe it feels and looks a bit more like splits for you. If so, awesome. Ride the wave. Bend your left knee. Drop your right heel to the floor. Inhale, peel your right hand up to the sky. Breathe into your right shoulder blade here. Notice the difference in position. Work through your spine to work into your hips. On your exhale, right hand to the floor. 3-legged dog. Your left leg lifts. On your exhale, left foot journeys up to left thumb. Right knee lowers down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Open the front body. Stretch through your fingers. Exhale, hands to the floor. Pivot around. Wide leg forward fold. As you make it there, 3 sways forwards and back. Push away. Pull forward. Push away. Pull forwards. Push away. Pull forwards. Push away and hold. Breathe in here. Really try to grip through your big toes. Lift through your spine. Lift through your tailbone. Pull forward. Pivot your heels in just enough. Sit your hips low. Goddess pose. Active squat. Hold nice and steady here. Reach your hands out in front of you. Inhale, peels your left hand behind you. Exhale, affirms a twist. Inhale, opens you up more. Exhale, closes you off. Inhale, reaches your right hand back behind you. Exhale, confirms the twist. Inhale, opens you up. Exhale, returns to center. Inhale here. Exhale, sit a little bit lower. Hands to heart center. Lift your chest. Exhale, lean out. Find your halfway lifted position. Really try to work through your legs here. Hands to floor. Let them land. Push to straighten the arms. Rise onto the tips of your big toes. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Walk your hands towards your front foot. Step back to plank pose. Move through your vinyasa. Find a nice rhythm to it. And then as you make it back into downward facing dog, look forward. Lift heels, bend knees, step or float your shins in between your thumbs. So your knees will land by your thumbs. Again, it could be a step, it could be a float. It could really be anything that serves you here. Let your feet splay wide and sit in between your heels. If you have a block handy and you need it here for whatever variation of hero's pose you choose to take, feel free to move there now. In this hero's pose, you can lean all the way back if you'd like, and you can take shoulders, head to the floor. That feels good, but just kind of notice where you're at in your day, where you're at in your practice. This may not be the best option for you yet. Maybe being a bit more upright feels nice because there's less pressure on your feet and your knees. You always want to acknowledge where you're at in your practice any day and work from there, of course, because again, the practice is your perspective. It's your space for self-study. It's not just a set of rules to follow. It's a method in which you explore yourself. And while there's a technique to every method, there's also you that's participating within that method. And the technique is a baseline. How you choose to employ the technique, how you choose to work with the different lines and ranges of motion is completely up to you. So explore it as you see fit. You can linger in this hero's pose for as long as you would like. After all that we just did, hopefully it feels really nice. Hopefully you'll feel a nice long opening through your front body. If you want to close your eyes and breathe a little bit deeper, feel free. If you want to come out of the pose, find your way into Shavasana, also feel free. Remember, the journey is always your own. Work with your practice. Let your practice serve you. Acknowledge the time spent on your mat. Be grateful for your efforts. Be grateful for an opportunity to show up for yourself. It's not always easy, but you are here and you made it to that point, to this point at least. Honor your efforts with your breath. Give yourself the opportunity to let go of something so you can move forward with your day in a space of kindness and empathy. As always, y'all, thank you so much for joining me for these sessions. I look forward to practicing with you again very soon. Have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.